Welcome, 8th graders, to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. So, I want you to think of yourselves not just as students right now, but as master builders. You're truth seeking architects, and you're about to learn how to construct really powerful, unbreakable essays. Think about it. Just like a massive, awe inspiring building needs solid pillars to stand tall and strong mortar to hold the whole shebang together, well, your informational writing needs exactly the same things. Today, we're going to learn how to use evidence as your unshakable pillars and transitions as the perfect mortar to bind your ideas flawlessly. All right, let's dive right in.
Here's the blueprint for our time together today. We're hitting 5 key sections. First, Section 1, the foundation of truth. Section 2, how to cite evidence. Section 3, connecting ideas with transitions. Section 4, your homework mission. And finally, Section 5, education and biblical morality.
All right, Section 1, the foundation of truth and building trust with your audience. Okay, so this is where it all begins. The core idea here is that strong informational writing literally has to back up every single claim with reliable evidence. That is how you build trust. If you want people to believe what you have to say, you've got to build that trust from the ground up. And, this concept of seeking and verifying the truth, it isn't a new thing. It goes way back. Just look at this quote from Acts chapter 17, verse 11. It describes the Berean Jews as being of more noble character. But why? Well, because they didn't just passively sit there and listen. They received the message eagerly, sure, but then they examined the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true. This source material highlights them as the ultimate historical role models for verifying facts. They sought the truth, and in your own writing, you really need to be just like the Bereans, verifying your facts and showing your readers exactly where your truth is coming from.
So, why does citing your evidence actually matter so much? Well, when you cite a source, you're basically showing your reader, hey, my ideas are supported by solid facts, not just my own personal opinions. And that builds a massive amount of trust between you and your audience. If readers can physically see where your information comes from, they know your work is accurate. They know it's believable. And let me tell you, whether you're in school, in your future career, or really just in everyday conversations, backing up your ideas with actual proof is a skill that earns you serious respect.
Moving right along to Section 2, how to cite evidence. Building the pillars. Now that we know why we need these pillars of truth, let's look at exactly how to build them using credible sources like books, articles, or interviews. This example brilliantly shows off our first method, which is the direct quote. It says, according to NASA, Earth's average temperature has risen by 1.9 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880. Did you catch that intro phrase? According to NASA? By simply adding those 3 words and throwing in some quotation marks, you instantly borrow the credibility of a massive, trustworthy organization. You aren't just saying the Earth is getting warmer, you're saying, look, the top scientists at NASA actually measured this. It makes your writing instantly strong and just undeniably believable. So always mention where the info came from. That's what we call a citation. Okay, let's check out another tool, paraphrasing. Let's see how this levels up your writing skills even more. On the left side, we've got an original quote. Recycling aluminum saves 95% of the energy needed to make new aluminum. Now, look over on the right at the paraphrase. Making aluminum from recycled materials uses far less energy than producing it from scratch, almost 95% less. See what we did there? We kept the exact same meaning, the fact is still completely accurate, but we used our own unique voice. Paraphrasing is incredibly powerful because it proves to your reader that you actually understand the information, rather than just copying and pasting somebody else's words.
Section 3, connecting ideas with transitions, the mortar.
All right, so we've got our pillars of evidence built, but here's the thing. If you just stack pillars of evidence next to each other, you don't have a building, right? You just have a bunch of poles. You need mortar. Transitions are that essential mortar that guides your reader from one point to the next without any confusion. Without them, your writing is going to feel super choppy, and your reader might just completely lose track of your argument. So here's your transition toolkit. Let's walk through this real quick because you always want to pull the right word for the right job. Notice the categories based on your goal. If your goal is to add more information, you use mortar like furthermore, in addition, or also. If you want to compare 2 things, you pull out similarly or likewise. If your goal is to contrast and show a difference, you'd use words like however or on the other hand. And if you want to show cause and effect, you go with phrases like therefore or as a result. Seriously, memorize these categories. They will make your writing flow absolutely beautifully.
Let's see this in action. Take a look at this example. Deforestation harms wildlife habitats. In addition, it increases carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. See how seamless that is? we have two totally related ideas about the negative impacts of deforestation. By just using that transition phrase, in addition, we smoothly link them together. The reader steps naturally from that first point right onto the second point without tripping over anything.
Section 4, your homework mission, the blueprint. All right, builders, this is the blueprint for your own work. This is where you get to take everything we've just learned and actually apply these tools to your own essays. Here is your 5-step mission. Step 1, you're going to write down one fact about your topic and cite its source. Step 2, you're going to practice that skill we just saw and paraphrase a fact from your research. Step 3, you'll add a direct quote using a strong intro phrase, something like according to. Step 4, write 2 separate sentences and join them flawlessly with a transition work from your new toolkit. And finally, Step 5, explain in your own words why citing evidence actually improves your credibility. You guys have absolutely got this.
Section 5, education and biblical morality, the master builder.
As we start to wrap up this explainer, the Academy Godly Learners series asks us to step back and look at the bigger picture. The idea is that you are the builders of your own lives. Their core philosophy is simple but deep. Education without morality will hurt. They intertwine biblical morality with education for a very specific reason. Think about it. You can learn how to write the most persuasive essay in the world. You can learn to cite evidence flawlessly, use the most elegant transitions. But if you have all that knowledge without a moral compass to guide how you actually use it, well, it ultimately leads to pain. True education must always, always be paired with good character. The program actually points to an incredible promise from Romans chapter 8, verses 6 through 7. This passage promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their minds spiritual. The source material emphasizes that maintaining your integrity and seeking truth, exactly the way the Bereans did, is what actually brings that genuine peace of mind that, let's be honest, we all want to experience in our lives. So I want to leave you with this final, vital question to really chew on today. What is the point of being smart and supposedly educated if you're just continuing to make bad choices that hurt? Think about that as you go about your week. Building your character and your spiritual mind is just as important, maybe even more important than building your essays. Stay eager, keep seeking the truth, use your evidence, and go build something incredible. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you next time.